How would you say they handled the conditions and everything else with the band?
Yeah, I thought okay. You know, man, it's hot. And you put the pads on, and man, it's difficult. So I thought there was maybe a little bit of a lull somewhere in there, kind of in the middle of practice. But I think overall they pushed through and did a pretty nice job.
Things got a little tense between Peyton Turner and Trevor Penning today. Is that kind of normal this time of year for camp?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, everybody's trying to compete at a high level, and they're trying to make a good impression on the coaching staff, and so that's kind of part of it. But obviously, the most important thing is that we get our reps and we get our plays, and that we're working to get better, and all the kind of post snap stuff. We're going to try to limit that as much as we possibly can.
Dennis, Alvin is obviously out of here today. Do you have any kind of update on where he stands?
I don't have any update at all.
Coach, Justin Evan being out of football for a few years, coming back, your evaluation of Justin so far?
Well, I think there's been some days where I feel like he's made some plays that have kind of stood out to me. So that's good to see. He was a second round draft choice, and we had some pretty good grades on him coming out in the draft, and so we felt like that was a good kind of chance to take on a guy, and so far I think he's done a really good job in camp. So I'm excited about what he's doing.
Dennis, along those lines, what about DeMarcus Fields? I look at the rookie from Texas Tech. Like one-on-one, he got a pick, and the team it seemed like.
Yeah, look, I think this is one of those years where I feel like player 1 through 90, like it's a pretty deep group, and so there's a lot of guys like that, young guys that I feel like are guys that we're excited about working with, and so I think he's done a pretty good job, and as with a lot of these young guys.
What have you seen in Alontae Taylor since the start?
Look, a lot of the same things that I saw, throughout the spring. And he competes at an extremely high level. He's physical on the line of scrimmage. He made a hell of a play down the field, on a deep route. He's got the right mental makeup, and it's really just about getting comfortable in the system. But I think up to this point, it's been pretty good.
When guys like him are like he was a high school quarterback type of player, can you see that actually impact a guy's game when they're playing on the other side of the ball, and maybe we're just seeing the field and understanding how all that works?
Yeah, I think look, the quarterback position is probably the most unique position on the field, just in terms of an intelligence level that it takes to play that position. So I think being able to see the game from that perspective, I think probably helps him to some extent. But there's a lot of it that's ability based, and really at the end of the day, it's his work ethic that kind of lets him be where he's at.
Coach Penning is always going after with some guys, like at the echo of the whistle. Have you had that discussion about him about hey?
No, not to this point, because I don't think anything's gotten to a point where there needs to be a huge discussion. Like I was saying a little earlier, I mean, obviously what's important is what we're doing between the whistles, and so we'll evaluate all those things as we go along, not just with him but with all our guys. You kind of get a little bit of that the first day you put the pads on, because then we begin to start playing real football. And so I think you saw a little bit of that today.
DA, Erik McCoy's been in the program for a few years. What are some of the things about him that have stood out and made him the player that he is?
Yeah, he's athletic. He's smart. I think more so than anything, it's just kind of the consistency. You know exactly what you're getting with that player every time he goes out on the field. So, which is a really, really good thing. Anytime we know, what we're getting, we feel like we can work with that. So, look, Erik's been a good player for us, and excited about where he's at.
Dennis, I almost hate asking because I don't know the circumstances, but is there a certain point where you feel like you need to have Tyron here for continuity, or is a veteran he can pick it up maybe?
Well, look, I think there's a point where that is the case. I don't think we're there. And so, again, we're really kind of allowing him, the space to handle what he needs to handle, and we'll be sitting here with open arms when he's ready to come back.
Coach, with this Paul Debo, what was his best day in the camp so far?
Well, I think he's had some pretty good days. So just coming off the practice field, it'd be hard for me to say that this is, his best day at camp. But he's really stepped his game up, I think, to this point in camp. So, yeah, he had a good day.
Yeah, with kind of bridging off that, with Pat's coming on today, I think the physicality of the corners really stood out. How important is that to this group, and how do you kind of go about fostering that?
Well, it's extremely important. That's part of our, process that we go through in terms of evaluating guys coming out of college. We play a physical at the line of scrimmage game with our corners, and so that's why you see the corners that we bring into the program here generally, have some size, have some length, and have a kind of a tough mentality about them.
We got to see Pete Werner back on the field today. What stood out to you about him sort of throughout this process thus far, going back to his rookie year with an expanded role in the way?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we got him, activated today. He did a little bit of individual, I think, today, and some walkthrough. We'll evaluate him as the process goes on. But where he's come from in terms of a rookie to what he was able to do in the spring, he's made some progress. But it was good to get him out there and get going. He's got a lot of work to do, and so we'll kind of evaluate him as he gets a little further into the process.
Dennis, how are you going to work that out with, is it, you have in your mind X amount of days you could be outside or inside? So if you're not dealing with the fans, I mean, you look at it.
Yeah.
Like as long as there's no lightning or heat index, we could be outside kind of.
There's going to be a good bit of that. I think we'll evaluate it as we go along. I think there's something to being out in those elements, but I'll get you in the air conditioning at some point, Bobby.
You like it outside of that, don't you? I mean, you feel like it has enough value to do as much as you can outside.
I do. Again, it's all about what's best for our football team, And look, we're still early in camp, so there's part of that where you have to, push through the elements a little bit, because there's going to be times in the regular season, that we're going to be tested mentally, and we're going to have to, push through some adversity, and so. The only way you learn how to do it is you have to go through it, and so that's part of the process.
And that's part of your evaluation, who does what, especially maybe at the end of practice, right?
Yeah, it's all part of the process. It's all part of the evaluation process, and so, and look, I thought today was kind of nice out there. So it was an hour and 45 minutes. We spent the first 30 minutes inside, so, but we'll be outside again tomorrow if the weather holds up.
Coach Andrew Dowell spoke Saturday about the impact he can make on special teams. Can you talk about Coach Rizzi and special teams unit, what you've seen so far? Obviously, Will Lutz going perfect, at camp on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I think our special teams is one of the strengths of our football team, and I think Riz and Phil do an outstanding job with those guys. We worked some going in punt today. We had a couple that we got downed inside the 5. We talked the other day in the team meeting about field position. That's part of the game. So all these little bitty things matter, and special teams is an important aspect of the game, and I think we got two of the best special teams coaches in the league working with our unit.
Is that gunner spot opposite JT Gray a spot that a lot of folks are competing for? We've seen a lot of players get reps in rotation.
Yeah. Well, look, there's a lot of spots that are highly competitive, and certainly that's one of them. All good? All right. Thanks, guys.
How's it going?
Everybody good?
Trevor, how was day one with pads on?
It was good. It was good to get back to kind of real football, football how we're going to be playing, these games at. So getting back to it, you get the physicality part back to it.
you know, it's a lot different for O-linemen. O-linemen playing with, you know, jerseys on, it's kind of hard to, you know, get a lot of the timing's all different. You know, grabbing guys, it's completely different. But it was good to get back out there today.
Trey, where would you say you are right now, just as far as learning everything?
You know, yeah, every day I'm trying to get 1% better. Really, that's kind of my goal. You know, you're not going to become, you know, you're not going to get adjusted in one day and 1 week. Over time, you start stacking days up. You go from there, and you know, by the time week 1 comes around, you see where you're at.
Do you wake up in the middle of the night worried about what someone's going to be the quarterback?
Do I what?
You wake up in the middle of the night worried about somebody hitting the quarterback?
I mean, kinda. No, not really. I mean, that's something you don't want to happen. So, I don't know if I wake up. I mean, I think I sleep pretty good.
But it's like, I mean, that's the only time you guys are ever on TV with somebody.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the name of the game for O-linemen. I mean, that's the only time really O-linemen are spotlighted is when you screw up and everybody hates you. So, I mean, you try not to do that.
You became kind of in this sport of a fast reputation, physical player. Do you feel like you have to show that, or do you have to feel like you have to keep it in check since you are a rookie around the line better?
I mean, it's part of my game, I think. I mean, it's just how I am as a player. But you know, I'm obviously out there working technique. I'm trying to get better, you know, at the technique of the game and getting the blocks down, and then you know the finishing ability. That's what I pride myself in, and that's always going to be part of my game. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you got a pretty clear understanding of yourself of what you need to do to kind of make it, you know, I'm guessing you want to start week 1. Do you feel like you have like a good path of like, these are the things I want to do to make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, every day we're watching film. I mean, we're in meetings pretty much the whole afternoon. So we're spending so much time watching practices and installing and all that, but watching yourself in practice and seeing exactly what you need to do. I mean, I got Coach Streif, he's literally sitting to the right of me about maybe a foot away, and every play I'm in, he's telling me, hey, this is what you got to do better, good job on that, what can I do to improve? So having him he's been huge, and yeah, I've just been, you know, every day just learning a little bit every day, and yeah.
Do you feel the growth?
Yeah, every day. I mean, with him, I mean, he's helped a ton. I mean, every day I'm feeling a little bit better and better, and I mean, it's just kind of a trajectory almost. I feel like I'm getting better and better every day.
So Trevor, when Peyton, Turner, and Taco Trouble yelling back at you, just your response is, "I'm just working on my technique."
I mean, I didn't say anything. I mean, it's football. We're competing. I mean, it's a tough game for tough people. You got to be able to take that. I mean, there's no bad blood between us. I mean, we're just competitors competing.
We haven't gotten to see a lot of Peyton Turner. You're obviously blocking him. What are some of the things about him that stand out that he does well from an offensive lineman's perspective?
He's quick. He's long. He's athletic, quick, long. I mean, he's a good pass rusher for sure. And you know, it's really our first day going against each other with pads on. So I mean, it's a completely different game when you got pads on versus no pads. So I still haven't seen a ton of them yet, but I mean, this week, next week, we'll see more of it.
Yeah, just for an example, you know, what does change when you put the pads on, like as what you're going through?
You know, timing. I mean, timing your punches down. It's different because they got more surface area on them. You can actually kind of have a point where you can hit them at almost. Right. So, yeah, there's just a bunch, and yeah.
Do you think the veteran players, knowing your reputation as, you know, a guy who goes after it real hard, do you think they will try to goad you into penalties, or you kind of staying as far as like not getting out of that realm that you need to be in?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I would have assumed maybe, but I try not to let that get to me. I want to play in between the whistle. I'm going to go hard in between the whistle, but after the whistle, I'm going to line back up and go at it again.
Is Jari Evans, I mean, Jari played that way.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a conversation with him about this subject?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we have it no line. I mean, Coach Marone and Coach Streif, all three of them, we've talked about that. I mean, that's just part of the game. That's my game. That's kind of how I play, and they're telling me they don't want me to lose that. It's hard to find people like that want to do that nowadays. So I really pride myself in that.
With today being the first day in the pads, for y'all out here. Is there something that stood out to you today that you plan to build on tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, every day I'm finding something that, I saw, I improved at, and there's something that I need to improve on, and I'm going to watch, when we watch film this afternoon, I'll find little things I need to, really small details that I need to fix every day. So every day you're just trying to get a little bit better.
Is there a focus for you right now? I'm sure it's kind of all over this, but is there a focus for you right now, like run game, pass game, anything like that?
Yeah, pass game for sure. I want to work on my hands. My hands I can improve. That's probably my number one area I need to improve that right now, is just my hands and punch timing, just punch in general, just everything about it. I think I can improve a lot, and that's going to help a ton with me.
Jari Evans was here not too long ago talking about holding his hands against Aaron Donald. Has he been really helpful for you on that in particular?
Yeah, he's been really helpful so far. I mean, having him was an NFL Hall of Famer. I mean, you can't really get much better than that. So having him, who's played at at the NFL at a really high level for a long time, it's awesome to have a guy like that in the building.
A couple days ago, Landon Young was telling us that it took him a little while to get used to the NFL cadence and just kind of getting used to the game in the NFL. How does it been just kind of catching on, like you said, once you've heard some different perspectives and helping?
Yeah. Well, I know him. They didn't have a cadence at Kentucky apparently, so that'd be weird. But it was definitely hard to get used to at first. In OTAs, that was when I was kind of like, oh wow, like this is like it goes real quick. So I'm starting to get the hang of it more now. I still could get better at it, so just improving it day by day.
Trevor, James Hurst has spoken about like the obvious balance between competing with you for the starting spot and then also being a teammate to you and being a guide in whatever way you need. How have those conversations been? Can you just talk about the impact James has been since he got here?
He's been incredible. I mean, he's been around the league for 8 years or something like that. He's been around forever. So having a guy like that to lean on for advice and kind of minor details and details he can tell me about the game and what to expect and all that, it's been a real help. And we're competing obviously, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just trying to be one of the best 5 and just go from there and see what happens.
Trevor, when you play to the whistle, like you said, your game, are you trying to just basically send a message to your opponent? Something there?
Something. I mean, a little bit. I mean, it gets in D lineman's head a little bit. So I think kind of, but that's just how I've always played the game, and that's just how it's meant to be played to me. So, yeah.
How many practice fights have you got?
In my career, I mean, not real fights, I would say. I mean, scuffles for sure. Like, kind of what happened today. I mean, it's nothing. Like, I'm not going out to start a fight or anything. But if things happen, it's a competitive game, and people are competing to make the team play. I mean, we're trying to all get better. We're trying to make a Super Bowl, so we're trying to get better every day.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
Everybody good? I'll take that as a yes. Shy, first day in pads for y'all out here. How was it to get some real football action?
Oh, it was good. It was fun, Got to knock the rust off. We didn't pass in January, so it was good.
Shy, you kind of made a spot for yourself here. Are you kind of proud of what you've been able to accomplish, because the odds were a little long, don't you think?
I mean, yeah, you're proud, but you can't dwell on it, Like football, it's a never-ending process. Every day you got to go out and prove yourself, so it's been fun.
Shaq, going into another year, what are some things that you worked on in the offseason and trying to work on this season?
Oh, man. Trying to improve my pass rush, and just play football, not let it just focus on your mental doing it. Don't let it get too, stressful and stuff. Enjoy the game. Don't lose the fun in it.
What did you learn from Onyemata?
Oh, man, David's a beast, So I've been with him 4 years now. I'm just trying to, be a sponge and soak up everything he tells me.
So when people call him one of the best interior pass rushers in the game, you're right.
Yes, yeah, of course. It shows each and every week. I guarantee if you go ask any of the O-linemen we play against, they don't want to see David.
So, as a defense, do you feel like you guys can be elite this year?
Oh yeah, yes sir. I mean, we got most of our defensive guys back, and the D-line, I wouldn't consider us young last year, but we had a bunch of younger guys, and most of us are back. We get another year to play with each other, so everyone's getting comfortable.
What's it like being on a defensive line that rotates as much as this New Orleans Saints system does?
I mean, it's good, you know, like every 3 or 4 plays we rotate, so you don't never really get tired. So, I mean, you stay fresh, you know, you never really out to win. Fourth quarter comes, you can press the gas.
Do you feel that advantage against the offensive line, the opposing offensive line that's on the field, 100%?
Yeah, of course, you know. You don't really think about it, but the offensive line, they don't never really rotate. So, I mean, like I say, we still fresh come fourth quarter.
So I've been having the additions of Kentavious and Will Johnson out there trying to speak to what they bring as a veteran presence, what you might have done for some.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, I say they have Kentavious and Jalil in there on the D-line now, just kind of what they brought to the table and maybe some things you've learned from them.
Oh, man, those are 2 athletic, big guys, you know. Streak, he's freaky athletic, twitchy. And Jalil, you know, he's powerful. So, yeah, you know, it's, our 4th practice, 5th practice together. So we just, you know, taking it one day at a time, teaching each other stuff, telling them what we see.
What do you think of Penning?
Say that again?
What do you think of Penning?
Oh, man, he's going to be pretty good. He's going to be pretty good for sure.
Any advice that you would give him as a defensive lineman playing against those guys in the league?
I mean, well, he practiced against 2 of the best, you know, Peyton, Cam, and Marcus about to come back, so I'm sure they, you know, they go against him more than me. He's going to be a good player for sure.
You mentioned the athletic twitchiness of a guy like Kentavious Street. Does that end up impacting the way that you approach your plan down in and down out, knowing are the power guys next to me or maybe a more athletic guys next to me? Do you adjust for that?
You know, we speak about it a little bit, but D-line more of a field thing, you know, like we play off of each other, you know. So if one guy, you see something across his face, you might pick up his slack or something like that, you know. It's just a field thing. You get it from playing with each other. Pause. That's it? No more questions?
Are you disappointed Matt Ryan's not in the division anymore?
Oh, man, you know, trying to get the next one.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you. Everything.
It's good to see all y'all faces again.
Yes, sir. Hey, Mario, before we get into football talk, can you kind of let us in on what you've been doing with your academy lately and what's kind of the latest with that there?
Oh, thank you for asking. So our plan is to launch the first Devoted Dreamers Academy, which will be an individualized, it's an alternative to traditional education school. It's focused on individualized education, understanding that we all made uniquely. God has given us all gifts, and calling those gifts out and being entrepreneurially minded with that. So understanding how you can identify problems, create solutions, and then monetize those. So we want to train our kids to be entrepreneurs. And then it will be an elite sports-based school. So it'll be a school that's founded by athletes. I got 11 other NFL athletes behind me with the school. So a school that's founded by athletes, predominantly for athletes. But it won't just be sports focused. It'll be beyond the sports. So there are more careers than just on the game field. There's sports medicine, there's sports science, there's sports media, there's the business of sports. And so those are all alternative career pathways. So all of our athletes, we want them to have all the ancillary opportunities available to them. And so that's what we're creating, doing the first one in New Orleans. And it'll officially be launched in 2023, the fall of 2023. And in the fall of 2022, we're doing a year-long after-school program that'll be open to an elite group of 40 students. And so we're excited about that. It's coming together real smooth. Thank you for asking about it.
Is this, just to follow up, this is like a school this isn't like on top of where they go to school. This would be where they go to school.
This will be where they go to school. It will be a private school. Yes, and as I said, it would be an alternative to traditional education. We've been lucky and fortunate to have some great partners come on. It'll be a fully accredited school. The education curriculum that we're using, kids have already been using that curriculum and have been going to schools all the way up to Ivy League schools. And so most kids that graduate this program traditionally go to the top universities in the country or go and start their own businesses. That's how equipped they are coming out of high school. And so we're excited about it, being able to partner that academic curriculum with our sports-based curriculum. So it's going to be real interesting and really exciting.
Sorry, have you thought about, like, in New Orleans where, I mean, there's other cities that may have education at the forefront, what that could mean to a city like this that may need something like that?
Oh, amazing. Our goal is to put one in every state. We only want one because we want them to compete with the best schools inside the state. And the first one will be in Louisiana, and it'll be in New Orleans. And we're going to do it in the 9th Ward. Our mentality is if we can succeed here, we can succeed anywhere. And there's none deserving more community, so we're excited about it. You know, the first day of pass is always interesting. You want to fly around and you want to have fun, but it's the first time that you really actually get a chance to play real football again. The rest of the time, it's all 7-on-7 pretty much. And I'm a fan of 7-on-7. Anybody who knows I have my own 7-on-7 team. But the game of football, 11-on-11, is won in the trenches. And so getting a chance to do 9-on-7, you know, allowing our fronts and our front offense, front defense to go at each other is always good. And so I thought it was a lot of thudding going on out there. But in this game, you never can be physical enough. You always can be more physical. You always can be faster. You always can be tougher. And that's what we're chasing. For us to reach our goals, we got to be the fastest, the strongest, and the toughest.
Demario, how do you see Pete Werner work to get back, and I'm sure his frustration not being able to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to come into camp and not be able to go. That happened to me when I was a rookie, so I know that's challenging. But there's nobody I'm more excited to see out there on the field than Pete Werner. What a phenomenal year he had in his rookie season. I know he's excited to come back. A smart football player, a tough football player, knows how to make plays on the ball. So just exciting to see the next step he is able to make in his progression in his game. Our team needs it, and so really excited. But also excited for the other linebackers we got in our room. We got a lot of guys who are looking to prove themselves and have the ability to do it. So it's going to be an exciting year for our room.
Kind of related. We're getting kind of our first look at Eric Wilson. What's kind of stood out to you about him so far? I mean, he's played a lot in the league before, had a couple big years.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming off of, not this season, but the season before, where he was one of the top linebackers in the league. Multiple interceptions, I think 122 tackles, a bunch of sacks. That's really what you want. If a guy can fly around and make tackles, if he can create ball disruption, if he can get to the quarterback, that's all you can ask for in a linebacker. And so he's already shown that he has the capability to do it. Don't know what happened in the year after. Maybe just wasn't a good fit, but now he's here and he's shown that's why he was able to make those plays. I mean, he's a smart guy, has came in, picked up our system quick. He flies around and make plays. And so he definitely gives us what we need in our room, which is if something happens to a guy and he has to go in, we feel confident in him to be able to get that done.
And who would you say brings more juice to the practices? Would it be you or Hodges?
And nobody bringing more juice than me. That's first of all.
All right.
but no, Coach Hodges, he preaches that every day. I think the reason why our linebacker group has been able to make the progression that we've been able to make is because he preaches that every single day. He preaches energy and effort every single day. He preaches physicality. He wants us to be dominant at the point of attack all the time, and he preaches get the ball at all costs. And so the fact that he's always harping on those things, that's why we're able to go around and bring a lot of electricity for our defense. That's our responsibility.
Mario, obviously you're seen as such a leader in not only the linebacker room, but this is on the defense as a whole. What does that leadership look like specifically during training camp?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, our goals are so high. Coming off the type of year that we had last year, where we faced so much adversity. It was like storm after storm after storm, literally. And with injuries, not having our top guys, and then having a chance to compete at the end, and then falling just short, not, because we didn't get it done, but because the chips fell how they fell. But now coming back in, you kind of want to ride on that momentum. I think we want to keep the resiliency, but that's all that we can keep, because you have to build it from the ground up. That's something that I learned from Drew when I got here. He's like, every year you got to build it from the ground up. And that's what we are. You tear the house down and you start brick by brick. And so what we're laying right now is the foundation. And we got a lot of our core together. Kudos to the front office and getting us all the right pieces. Not only did they get good pieces, they got us the right pieces. When you got guys like Marcus May, Tyrann Mathieu, Juice Landry, those type of guys, the guys that they got in the first round, they got guys that love football, and that's what New Orleans Saints football is built on. Guys who love being in the building. You know, when we're here joking around, I'm sitting beside Marcus May, and he watching film. That's what you like. That's what you want. And so they got the right guys. And so it's about taking all those pieces, building the right chemistry so that we can be the team that we know we can be. And right now, all we can do is lay the foundation. And by the time we get a chance to put it on for the public display, we got to be ready. And we get that by days like this, when it's hot outside, grinding, finding ways to get better.
What does Marcus specifically bring to the team? I know you guys were only teammates for a short while, but what does he bring? What do you think?
In my 11 years of football, I would say I played with 3 great free safeties. And that's not to take away from anybody else that I played with, but I had the opportunity to play with Ed Reed, had the opportunity to spend a lot of time around him, learning how to watch film and stuff, just away from the game. Marcus Williams and Marcus May. And Marcus May was in that conversation when I met him as a rookie, because I could see his range, I could see his ability to tackle in open space, I could see his ability to read concepts. And, you know, free safety is different than strong safety. You know, it's so much about being able to keep a roof on the building. And he has that. He has that range. He has that ability. And he's only getting better. So the things that I saw in him while he was young, he went on to, you know, build a career on that. And so you hate to lose a guy like Marcus Williams. But if it was anybody else that I could have picked, Marcus May would have been in that conversation. So definitely excited about that.
Demario, what are the qualities you've seen in Dennis Allen as a defensive coordinator that you think will help him succeed as a head coach?
DA is probably one of the smartest guys I've ever had the opportunity to be around. And I've been around a ton of coaches that I've learned a lot of football from. He has great ability to study teams and know what they're going to do and understand situations and put us in the best situation to be prepared for those situations. And it's because of the way he's constantly thinking through that and then preparing us not only to be able to anticipate and be aware of it, but to be confident in what we're doing about it. It was interesting. You know, we had some guys that were just talking about, you know, some of the defense, like maybe we should do this, we should do this. And I'm like, listen, guys, just trust the system. It works. You know, don't ask no questions. Just know what your assignment is, because I know DA, our coaching staff, has done everything to put us in position to win. And now you can see that his mindset trickling over to the offense and the special teams. And that's just our identity. Not only are we gonna know what our opponents are gonna do, we're gonna be prepared for it, and we're gonna put the energy and the effort and the passion behind crushing it. So that's what he brings to the table.
And how has, if at all, the co-defensive coordinator structure impacted things for y'all on defense to that effect?
I mean, our system and operation is the same. It's just DA not standing in front of the room talking. Ryan is in the front of the room, or Chris is out there on the field calling. But our operation is so much of the same. You know, it's really like a family operation. You know, it's like everybody kind of know their role and they just fall in place and do it. So it's not much has changed.
Do you think the Evo has a chance to be one of those type players that's better than real good?
You know, in this game, man, it's very easy to get excited about guys or get down on guys. And it's just a game where you just want to keep taking the next step. You just want to get 1% better every day. Every year you want to get a little bit better. And clearly you can see, if you've been watching practice, he is taking the next step as a cornerback. And that's exciting. He had a great rookie campaign. And you could tell he's already, he's not stopping there. He's taking the next step. He's progressing. And so you see guys like that and you get excited about them. You see them come in. You never know what you're getting with a rookie. You had some in first rounds that end up fanning out. You had some come in undrafted, they end up killing the game. You never know what you're getting. But he's a guy that wants to be good. He's always in the building studying. He's always on the field after practice getting work in. So you know he loves the game and wants to be good. And so I think the sky's the limit. And he'll have every opportunity to be. But excited about the next step of progression that he's made.
Tomorrow, I know Sam Dillon is before your time. I understand that. He's going into the Hall of Fame this week. That group Dome Patrol kind of had the legacy here. I mean, have you ever taken time to appreciate their legacy, what they did here in this organization?
Oh man, that's the greatest linebacker core to ever come through the NFL. You got to understand that. You know, I'm somebody that spent a lot of time, you know, studying the greats, Mike Singletary, Jack Lambert, Lawrence Taylor, all of that. And so, Dome Patrol. So, being an opportunity to not have to look around the league and mix and match linebackers, but to have it all here, you know, and to be able to come behind that, being able to rock the number of one of the greats that come through here, you know, it's just an honor. And so you just want to build on a foundation that's already been laid, but that means everything. Yes, it's a tremendous honor, you know, for me to be playing here behind the greats, and you just want to carry the baton forward, you know, and I want to leave it better. They passed it on to Vilma. Vilma passed it on to guys like myself, and I got to make sure, or we got to make sure we pass it on to guys after us.
We talked about that before. You appreciate legacy. I mean, where do you think your all's defense can fit into that? I mean, potentially,
Our book is still being written, you know. That's how I look at it, and that's we have to appreciate that opportunity. Is every other defensive legacy, the Steel Curtain, the Baltimore Ravens defense, you know, the '85 Bears defense. When you look at all of these great defenses, even the Dome Patrol, all that history is already, that book is closed. Our book is still open. And so every day we got an opportunity to get better. We got an opportunity to chase greatness. And that's why we can't let no practices slip. We can't let no preseason games slip. Can't let no games slip. We got to go because we're trying to be the best. And why be here if you're not chasing being the best? And that's what we want to be. So, you know, I'm telling our guys, we're not just practicing against our offense. We're practicing against every other team in the league because we're trying to be the best defense. Not just this year. We're trying to be one of the best defenses ever. That's what we're chasing, and we got an opportunity to do it. You look at our resume, what we've been able to do and getting toward the quarterback and stopping the run and being, you know, top 5, top 10 year after year. It's like, why not go be number one and just run away with the race? And but the only way to get there is putting the work in. And so just because you have the opportunity or just because you have access, you still got to go create the opportunity. So we got access to the number one spot, but we got to go create and make that opportunity. So excited about it.
Do you think you all have that kind of potential? I mean, not just to be one of the best in the league, but one of the greats.
Well, I mean, when you look at it and you got top 10 players on multiple levels of your defense, you don't have no choice but to, because it's not that easy to just assemble that type of talent on a team. When you got one of the greatest defensive ends that ever played the game in Cam Jordan, one of the top corners in the league in Marshawn Lattimore, one of the top end DBs just all around, when you got Tyrann Mathieu, Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus May, Ducey, Younger Debo, Roby. I mean, when you got guys like that on your secondary, and then you got me in the middle, you know, it's like we got to put it all together. You got guys like Big O, so you got multiple guys that are top guys at their position. It's going to be hard for you to go find 5 other guys that's better than them. And so just because you have that talent, now it just comes down to the work ethic, the effort, the desire, the willing to prepare to win. It comes down to all those intangible things. And so it's on us to make the choice every day to do that. We can't just roll in and think just because we roll out the bed that it's going to happen. And that ain't how it's happened up to this point. That's not how we got to top 5. It's because we came in and put the work in every day. So all of us are sharpening our skills individually, and that allows us to sharpen our skills collectively. And on top of that, we got a great coaching staff, so it's a lot of fun. Thank y'all. Y'all be blessed.
It's great. You gotta love it. Competing, getting back to 9-on-7 really let us focus on the run game. We showed some good stuff. I watched the tape already, so I'm excited.
Erik, when you think about what I guess you would want people to think about you, what would some of the things you would want people to say about the way you play and the way you carry yourself as a player?
I'm really simple. I want people, when they look at me, I want people to think I think football is fun. I still love the game. That when I go out on the field, I'm giving everything that I got, every rep, every individual. and they can see the joy that I get from being on the field.
If I can ask one football question.
Yeah.
You put up a tweet about your dog.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at the outpouring you got from like the Saints fans that
Yeah.
like, some of them wanted to show up in your neighborhood?
Yeah, it was all love. So all I can say is, you know, we have the best fans in the country, in the NFL. I said in the country, in the NFL, and I appreciate all the love and all the help that I received that night.
Erik, if Trevor were to start at left tackle, you're kind of a guy who can fly under the radar. You have 4 first-round picks on the line, but is that kind of fitting your personality to kind of?
Yeah, I didn't even recognize that, but yeah. I guess I am the sucky one out of the group. But no, I'm sorry, I don't even know your question anymore. You got me thinking. Yeah, fly under the radar. Yes, that's me 100%. Yeah. 4 first-round guys, you know, they're all dogs. I got love for all of them, and you know, I'll be the underdog. I'll be the under the radar guy. You know, it's fine.
I saw a stat where last year you missed 1% of your fastballs. Were you aware of that? Were you that you were 99 out of 100? I mean, of course, there's more than 100, but you were 99% in that area. Is that? You think that's? I mean, how much pride do you take in?
A ton of pride. I didn't know about that stat, but of course, I take a ton of pride in my pass blocking. You know, it's in the past, it's a pass blocking league. It's a passing league, so you got to be really good at it. So just to have that efficiency, whenever I do have to protect, it's a serious thing.
So I mean, you know, you take a lot of pride in making sure that your guy's not getting anywhere.
Oh yeah, a ton of pride.
Erik, everyone wants to talk about the Tennessee, Ohio State pipelines, but Texas A&M seems like it's coming up in the rear there with Justin, DA.
Yeah. Shoot, we've had a ton of Aggies since I've been here, especially in the coaching staff. You know, we had DA, we had Dan Campbell, we had Aaron Glenn at one point. We got Hodges. Do we have any other players from A&M here?
Justin.
Oh yeah, JF. Yeah. Yeah, that's another one. So, I mean, hopefully we can get some more players in the mix instead of just coaches. So, you know, we're just good culture people.
So, Erik, how would you compare all of your O-line coaches to Doug Marrone?
I will say that Doug is extremely detailed. That's one thing that I've learned just from being with him the last couple days, weeks. I don't know how long the practice is, but he's extremely detailed compared to other people.
Bobby stole my question.
Sorry.
What do you think of Doug's communication? He's got a lot of experience running the show, and you know, he's got that New York swagger.
Yeah, he does. He does for sure. But it's effective. You know, it gets the job done. He doesn't beat around the bush. Like, he tells you what he wants and how he wants it done, and you have to go execute it.
Erik, did you see the difference in Cesar Ruiz from last year to this year? The fact that he had the whole offseason and the work. What have you seen in him so far?
Yeah, I would just say from the day that Cesar has gotten here, he has continually grown as a player and as a person. He's definitely a lot more mature coming into this year. And you see that. You see that in the way that he plays, in the way that he prepares, in the way that he just walks around the building.
Do you feel like he has another level from where he was last year?
Yeah. And I think all of us do. You know, hopefully getting everybody back healthy this year will play a big role in just each one of our development as well. Because, you know, last year we had a lot of injuries. I missed my first 6 games. Ram missed some. Teron missed some. So I think just getting everybody back will help that development as well, even though Teron's not here anymore.
Kind of bridging off that, obviously Matt Ray is new in the building. Has there been any kind of differences in how you've been preparing this year that you've noticed?
Yeah, I would say a lot more volume than what we've done in the past. And when I say volume, I mean more reps. And there's a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Tracking of our data and how we're moving throughout the different lifts that we do, like the speed of the bar and things like that.
Erik, last year you guys had the most games missed by an offensive line in the NFL. Were you aware of that? And how hard is that from a continuity standpoint when the guys that you were counting on for much of the year are not there?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I really don't have a good answer to that, just because I know, like, we were on the next man up mentality, but not having just the same continuity between tackle and guard and tackle. I say tackle, guard and center. It's hard. It's hard. You know, everybody does things differently. Everybody communicates differently. We just have to adjust on the fly. So I'm really, I say this a lot, but I'm looking forward to this year and having everybody healthy, hopefully.
Erik, you see,
Big T-Stead. That's my guy. It's different for sure, but I think that we've all taken on kind of a leadership role and a leadership aspect in the room between the older guys and the guys who've been in the system for a couple of years. I'm going to miss him, but it's whatever. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him.
Is that leadership more by committee now that he's gone?
Yeah. I would say it's by committee for sure. I mean, you have, 4 guys in the room that have been in the system for 3-4 years. And we're just all kind of taking more responsibility, leading up the young guys, stuff like that.
Do you think that sometimes not having the same guys there, do you think that hurt the running game last year not to have that?
I think it definitely had an effect. That plus the fact that Alvin missed games, Mark missed games. I mean, just honestly, the health of the team last year, I'll say it affected the running game a little bit, but we can't use it as an excuse. All I can say is that I'm excited for this year.
Erik, are you 100% just center, taking center reps? No. Remember how they want you to do center guard, center, and all that? Are you just totally focused on center right now?
As far as I know, yes, but that can always change. Honestly, I just kind of do what I'm told, go where I'm told. I try to be easy.
Erik, was there an over-under among your fellow offensive linemen on how quickly Trevor Penning would get into that stuff?
There wasn't, but I might go have one now. Might have to start that one.
Do you guys, obviously you came in with a reputation. How do you view that? As a fellow lineman, you like that mentality?
Yeah. I mean, it brings a certain level of intensity. Because I'll always say, I play offensive line, but I'm really not a fighter. I'm a lover through and through. So it's nice having someone that comes in, they have that dog mentality, aggressive mentality. I got a dog mentality too. I'm not saying that, but it's just angry as soon as they step on the field. I have to make myself angry. So I think it's a good thing having that because it kind of boosts the meanness of the whole group as well.
How do you go about making yourself angry?
No. That's way too much. I don't know. I'm really not an angry guy. I can't give y'all everything.
Erik, Ryan Jensen goes down with the Bucks, and you hear so much chatter.
Yeah.
Not only losing the talent, but his communication skills, being able to pick up. For people who don't kind of grasp that center position, so much mental part goes into it, especially when you have a guy that's not going to move around too much. So, kind of a little bit of thought on that from your standpoint of that center spot, making all those calls, all those alignment adjustments, and now you see so much inside blitzes that you have to pick up.
Yeah, well, first off, shout out Ryan Jensen. Hope he gets healthy soon. Hope he gets well soon. He plays for a division rival, but it's always love between the centers. But yeah, center's a tough position mentally. You're kind of the quarterback of the offensive line, the cliche saying everybody likes to use, but it's true. We kind of run things up front, and basically everybody else's confidence on that offensive line runs off of me. So if they're confident in me, then we're confident as a whole group. And I take pride in that.
And to that point too, at this time last year, you were kind of going back and forth between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston throughout the season, 4 different quarterbacks. Is it a little bit of a relief at this point to know it's Jameis's team and you get to develop that communication with him, knowing that that's what you're going into for the season?
Yeah, that communication and just chemistry. Jameis is my guy. So I think it's a good thing that we kind of have it nailed down, he's going to be the guy for the entire camp, entire year, and we can get in a rhythm together. We can know what the other person is thinking before it's actually done. I think that's something that can only be beneficial to us as a unit.
So does Trevor have the chance to be the C.J. Gardner-Johnson of the offensive line?
Trevor's not a talker, so I'm not going to say yes, but it's the physical nature of how he plays can lead to such and such and such.
Right. So if there was a screen on his side of the field and C.J. Gardner-Johnson was coming, what do you think's going to happen?
Trevor is 6'7", 350. He's a physical freak. No. no talk to Chauncey, whatever. But it's going to be a train wreck. That's a big boy. Listen, I wouldn't want to be in the way.
How valuable is it now also having Andy Dalton on the team as a quarterback that's got 160 plus career starts in the NFL? Does that benefit you guys in terms of other conversation as well?
Yeah. I think anytime that you can have an older quarterback in the room that has that much starting experience, it can only be helpful. It's because he can teach Jameis things. Jameis can teach him things. They can just kind of, fly back and forth off of each other and bounce ideas off. So I think that it can only be helpful.
So it's like a discussion among peers, even though one's technically taking more snaps than the other. It seems.
Of course. Yeah. I would say even between me and Nick and Josh Andrews and Caesar, we have like an ongoing dialogue among the centers of like, yo, if you're in this position, what are you doing? So, because Nick Martin, he's another guy that's been in the NFL for 6-7 years and has a number of starts. So I feel like I can learn from him as well.
What are your thoughts about the Guardian camps?
I love them. I wore them in college too. My last year of college. So I know they might look funny, like mushroom tops, but I'm a fan personally. Anything that can reduce the number of hits to the head I have to take, I'm a fan of.
They cover the vents though.
They do. That's like the sole complaint that I have, but I'm not a complainer either. So it is what it is.
And it might not matter in Green Bay.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I can't complain about it. I'm a fan. Cool. Good. Appreciate it.
Oh, man.
Sorry, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.